Welcome back to Consumer Update. I'm Kelly Lightbourne. Thanks so much for joining us today. Over the years, a number of big-budget TV shows and feature films have been produced right here in Florida. Shows like Miami Vice, Dexter, and feature films like The Punisher, and most recently, Dolphin Tales 1 and 2. But with all the beautiful and interesting locations, few big-budget productions ever make it to our state. Instead, they end up in places like Georgia, North Carolina, and Louisiana. Here to tell us more about this complicated issue is Tony Armour, the St. Petersburg Clearwater Film Commissioner. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm going to dig right in because I think some people don't realize that we actually have a film commission.
Yeah.
So.
No, I get that a lot. I introduce myself as the film commissioner, and I get that blank stare.
Like,
know.
what
does that person actually do? Well, from the intro, it sounds like I don't do anything because we're not getting those big feature films. But in reality, my job is to bring in feature films, TV shows, digital media production, commercials, infomercials, print work, a little bit of everything.
Wow.
And so there are several hundred productions that happen every year right here in the area that people don't know about, and
Really?
millions of dollars a year that come into the area in business.
And I think that's key to talk about is the money that this brings. It's not just about getting notoriety because you see, our area on TV. It's more about, the everyday people and how we're going to benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're getting $6, $7, $8, $10 million a year in production coming to the area without a big major feature film. And everybody that's working on those productions, from the commercials to the digital media shoots to infomercials, they're all being employed in the area, and they're coming in, they're booking hotels and room nights, and so it has a big impact on the destination.
Wow. And tell us, right now, do we not have incentives? I mean, what's the atmosphere?
Yeah,
in Florida?
it's really interesting. A lot of people don't realize that the reason that you get television series and feature films will come to your area or your state to shoot is because of a tax incentive. Georgia right now is kicking everybody's butt and has a great incentive. Canada has had a lot of great tax incentives for the last 20 years or so, and Louisiana as well.
So what distinguishes this area for bringing films in? I mean, what would be the purpose? If there's not incentives, why would they bring them?
Sure. The best thing would be if we didn't have any incentives anywhere, because everybody would want to shoot in Florida.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves Florida.
It's beautiful.
Everybody wants to come to Florida. But, when Georgia's going to give you $3 million to shoot your film there, and we're not able to give you anything, businesses are going to follow the money.
Okay, so why can't we give them anything?
Well, that's
the million-dollar question, right?
Yes. That's a question for your state legislators. This is something that we did have a tax incentive program for several years, and it's out of money now, basically, and it's expiring in 2016. And when we did have those incentives, we had Magic Mike and Spring Breakers and the Dolphin Tale films and a lot of, big production that's coming to the area. And now that those have expired and we're trying to get a new incentive in place, it's a matter of, the legislators understanding what an impact this has on not just the dollars being spent, but on tourism and a lot of other ancillary spending as well.
Dolphin Tales is a prime example. Every time I drive by, it's packed. They're continuing to build, and like you said, that brings business to not only the hotels but any of the shops that are in the area.
Yeah, I think it's very well known what Dolphin Tale has done for tourism locally. I think the aquarium has gone from 200,000 visitors a year to close to 1 million visitors a year, and all those people aren't just going to the aquarium; they're staying in hotels, and they're going out to restaurants, and they're enjoying everything else in the local area as well.
One of the things I think was very interesting, and I'd love to be able to talk about it, is there's an illusion. Like sometimes some of these shows they'll say they're in Florida, but they're not. Tell us the inside scoop on that, because that was interesting. Yeah.
Well, right now, the big story is the Ben Affleck film Live by Night, which takes place entirely in Ybor City, is shooting in Georgia, and they're building a fake Ybor City.
Wait a second. It's being centered around Ybor City, and it's shooting in another location.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually cheaper to build fake Ybor City in Georgia than it is to shoot in actual Ybor City because of the incentives that the state of Georgia is giving to the production.
Wow. I mean, what's the solution here?
Well,
it seems frustrating.
Yeah, if the state of Florida, if we could just offer something incentive-wise, it doesn't have to be that big 30% that Georgia offers or that Louisiana offers, but if we're able to give, 15, 20%, a little bit of something to bring productions here. They want to shoot here, but we have to give them a reason to come here and shoot.
Incentives. And just to kind of clarify it, because a lot of people don't know. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But if you're saying 15%, is that 15% of the actual budget for the film, or how does that work?
Yeah, so let's say a film has a $10 million budget, and the way the state of Florida's program would work and has worked in the past is the state of Florida would give anywhere from 20 to 25% of that, whatever this actual spend is in the state of Florida.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't go to the directors, the actors that live in Hollywood. It goes
Right.
to, you know, what is spent hiring Florida crew, using Florida locations, spending money in the state of Florida. And so if you spend money in the state of Florida, you get a little something back, which then brings in additional money from them shooting here.
Well, this makes perfect sense. So I don't understand like why it's not, because it just seems like it's, I hate to use the word no-brainer, but
Yeah.
it does seem like that, because you're recouping the money. It's not like you're giving them the money and not getting it back.
You know,
You are.
there's always going to be somebody who's against any sort of incentive, you know, based thing, and it's usually just a small group of people that are fighting against it. Everybody else, you and I, see the benefit, and everyone else sees the benefit. And there's that small group of people you either have to try and change their mind or get enough, you know, votes in the legislature to get around it, essentially.
So what's the way to get around that? How are we bringing people in? If we, you know, obviously this is something that has to be voted on, so it can't be done today. But what is your group out there doing? I mean, how do you entice people to come to our area?
Sure. So, you know, then outside of, you know, we're talking the big feature and films and things like that, you know, there are other things that we can do in other productions. You know, as we all know, digital media, YouTube is huge right now. And so some of these smaller productions where maybe they're getting 3 million, 5 million, 10 million views on YouTube. Well, if you get something like that, it's the same kind of ratings that you know, Mad Men or a television series is getting. So YouTube is television nowadays, and so I think we have to start thinking of things in the digital space a little differently, and not in the traditional, you know, film TV sense, because it's really the same thing, but it's a new way of watching TV and absorbing that video content.
No, a lot of information to take in.
Yeah.
How do people learn more about what you do? Because like I said, a lot of people don't even know you exist. So how do they
Sure,
find out?
yeah. Well, our website is filmspc.com, so you can learn more about the St. Pete Clearwater Film Commission that way. Film Florida is a great organization based in the state of Florida here that helps promote film and television in the state of Florida. And a lot of great information there about the tax incentives and what you can do to, you know, write your legislator and, you know, help us get that incentive. And then there's the statewide film commission, which is filminflorida.com. So a lot of Film Florida. You know, Google those terms, Film Florida, and you'll find everything.
Right. It's not just about the celebrity. It's
Yeah.
about bringing money to our state. So
Yeah,
people
you know,
really need
it's
to get involved.
about the caterers and the construction workers and the electricians,
Exactly.
and those are the people that make a film, really.
Yeah, and you don't think about that. So,
Right.
But we need to start thinking about that.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not all financial advisors are created equal. When we come back, we'll introduce you to a former Air Force pilot who specializes in retirement planning and investments the Harwood way. So don't go away.